Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is Dr. Misha, and today I'm going to show you how to prep an alternative healthy meal on a budget. I realize that some of you may already be on a vegan diet or a plant-based diet, but others may still be taking baby steps. So let me help you build back essentials to your health, starting in the kitchen. So today's healthy meal comes from Trader Joe's. It was a total of $34.08. Here are all of my grocery items. However, there were a few other items that I had to pick up, such as plums and some watermelon. Those are things that I like to eat throughout the week, especially in the summer. So if you subtract those things from the total, then my grand total actually came to $27.25. Today's meal under $30 is going to be salmon, kale, and some quinoa. 3 of my favorite foods. So in order to make this meal, I made a list to purchase these items from Trader Joe's. I got a bag of kale for $2.29. I got some organic quinoa for $2.99, 2 oranges for 79 cents each, 1 yellow onion, which was 79 cents, 2 packs of salmon, which were about $8 a piece. I also picked up some thyme for $1.69, 1 lemon for 49 cents, and 2 limes, which were 29 cents each. Now, these are some pretty large pieces of salmon. You can get about 6 pieces or 6 servings. So if you're a single person, then you can meal prep for the entire week. And if you have a large family, then this can serve up to 4 to 6 people. So to create this meal, I divided it up into 3 stages. The first stage was me juicing some things. I took both of my oranges and I juiced it because I wanted to add that to the salmon as a gravy replacement. It's going to give the salmon a fresh citrus flavor, and it'll also be good to put that glaze over my quinoa when my quinoa is done. So the second part was actually putting that quinoa inside of my rice cooker. And for every cup of dry quinoa, I added 2 cups of water. The spices that I added to the salmon were things like the thyme. I like cumin, cayenne pepper, chili powder. I added those based off of my personal preference. A lot of people don't like a lot of heat and spice, so if you don't like them, you can just find something else to put in it, whatever you like. However, I did not use a lot of salt, and by a lot, not a lot, I mean I only used 1/4 of a teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt. That's all I used. And I also added onions for aroma and flavor. And lastly, the kale, I added dried cranberries to that, onions, and some red vinegar wine. So that's my prep list. Now let's get started. So I used a saucepan and I warmed it up at about medium heat, added about 2 ounces of water, and I added as much kale as I could fit into the pan. And I also added the red vinegar wine for taste, some onions, and some dried cranberries. I like my greens to actually be green and crunchy, so I don't like to keep them on the heat very long. And if you saw the first video, that's why I was teasing the cousin Joanne in the text conversation, because she and I were actually cooking around the same time, and she prepped some canned greens, and I said yuck, for those of you who could not actually read that conversation. I lightly coated the pan with the grapeseed oil on medium heat, and I added my salmon. If you prefer baked salmon, then this recipe will work just as good. I didn't show any of the seasonings that I used, but like I mentioned earlier, I added cayenne pepper, thyme, a little cumin, and a sprinkle of pink Himalayan salt. Okay, once your salmon is cooked to your liking, then you can start to add in the onions, and you can add in the orange juice that you juiced earlier. If you want to get your juice from the grocery store, that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to make some fresh orange juice for this meal. I probably let the orange juice simmer with the salmon on low to medium heat for about 10 minutes. And it'll start to thicken up the longer that it cooks. And once it's cooked up to your preference, then you can remove it from that heat and just let it stand for a couple of minutes. And I like to remind people to be very careful with how much salt you're using. Once we start to change your palate, we'll eventually get to a place where you let the herbs and the spices do the work, and you don't have to add a lot of salt, meat tenderizer, and things like that. That's my meal under $30 at your local Trader Joe's. This was a meal I prepped for myself, so it lasted about 5 days. I hope this was helpful to you. Thanks for connecting with me while I share with you tips on how to build back essentials to your health starting in the kitchen. Peace.
Oh, this might not be a good video.